ChatGPT. It's an AI developed by OpenAI. You can log in and start asking it questions in a dialogue, conversational form. It's a remarkable technology. It appears that Microsoft certainly agrees, as they've announced they'll be investing multi-billion dollars into the AI. Obviously, the applications of this technology are near limitless. But I had only one use for it. It is not appropriate to use me or any language model to make fun of or harass any group of individuals, including Vosh.
How about no?
To recap, and subscribers of my channel are probably sick of hearing about this, but Vosh infamously claimed that water is not H2O during a debate.
Well, first of all, I don't think biological sex is defined in terms of chromosomes. But let's just use the example of water. Maybe we could agree that water is H2O.
This isn't true.
That water has not always been H2O?
Yeah, all you have to do is cross the Mexican border. And over there, it's aqua.
So first, I asked it to create a Vosh-style script on why water is not H2O. It replied, "I'm sorry, but water is indeed made up of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. If you are trying to make a point about water not being H2O in some sort of comedic or satirical matter, I would advise you to do more research on the subject and to consult with experts in the field." If only he was joking. Next, I considered Vosh's absurd claim that the periodic table is arbitrary.
Based on or determined by individual preference or convenience, or utility, rather than by necessity or the intrinsic nature of something. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean by arbitrary. It fits the definition just fine.
I plainly asked ChatGPT, is the periodic table arbitrary? And of course, it answered me that the periodic table is not arbitrary. It's based on the atomic structure and properties of the elements. I already debunked this in another video, but it's hilarious because the definition Vosh is showing on screen clearly contradicts him. I then asked it to give me a Vosh-style script arguing the periodic table is not arbitrary, but it replied, "I'm sorry, but I cannot generate a script promoting misinformation or pseudoscience. The periodic table is based on the atomic structure and properties of the elements and is not arbitrary." Next, I asked our robotic friend to write a story about Vosh, saying H2O is aqua and not admitting he's wrong. Here's what it gave me, and I think it's pretty funny. Once upon a time, there was a man named Vosh who firmly believed that the chemical compound H2O was actually called aqua. He would argue with anyone who disagreed with him and was convinced that he was right. One day, Vosh was at a dinner party with a group of scientists who specialized in chemistry. The topic of water came up in conversation, and Vosh proudly declared that it was called aqua. The scientists tried to explain to Vosh that the proper name for water was H2O, and that aqua was not a scientifically recognized term. But Vosh refused to listen, and insisted that he had done extensive research on the topic. He even went so far as to pull out a book that he claimed proved his point, but the scientists quickly pointed out that the book was not a credible scientific source. Despite all the evidence presented to him, Vosh still would not admit that he was wrong. He stubbornly stuck to his belief that aqua was the correct name for water. The scientists at the party were frustrated by Vosh's refusal to accept the truth, but they decided to let it go and just let Vosh continue to believe in his own version of reality. They knew that no amount of evidence or reasoning would change his mind. Vosh eventually realized that sometimes it's better to admit that you're wrong and learn from your mistake than to stubbornly hold on to a false belief. I think Vosh should take the same lesson as our fictional Vosh. Anyway, I had way too much fun with this ChatGPT thing. I even got it to generate a story about Vosh having a smelly arse. Arse is a slang term for bum, ass that's used in England and Ireland, if you didn't know. The results were hilarious. I won't share it here as I was only trying to get around the profanity filter. It's funny because I tried using arse again the next day and it wouldn't let me, so it had obviously been added to the profanity filter in the meantime.